back, back again from the studio,
From the studio.
apartment. No. Shout out to Coca on that. So, how's everybody doing? It's been a few months. Lots of stuff's happened.
Yeah.
I've been moving. He's been traveling. We're back in studio,
Yep.
and we are going to be talking about the Last of Us premiere. First of all, Mystery, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. As Lion said, a lot of things have changed. I've been traveling, all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Got married, is all good. And so it's been nonstop. So we took some time off and we were waiting for a good show. And we had big anticipations for the show. Lion, what are your thoughts about this show?
You know this show. I've been hyping this show for like a whole year.
Yeah.
I've been hype. I've been looking at pictures. I've been looking at clips. I played the video game. This game really touched me back in 2013 when I initially played it, and to see it come to life, and not just that, we just look at the road to having the show made.
Uh-huh.
97% review scores in positive scores on Rotten Tomatoes, 83 on Metacritic. This is a conglomerate of reviews.
Exactly. And this is like they don't necessarily qualify as video game fans, so they're not partial to grading this because it's a video game. They're just grading it on the show alone. And it seems like thus far they are delivering. Thus far. I don't play video games. I don't know if any of you noticed that, but so this was new to me, and I did a little bit of research because I wanted to know how true it was staying to the game and stuff like that, just to sort of be my barometer. And wow, thus far they kept everything very similar, stayed online, and honestly, the video game. The storyline is captivating, so I think this was an easy play for the directors.
No, for real quick. Shout out to Room Mamba, my man. Thank you for checking us out. You know I love this game. I love this show. It was pretty good. We're gonna go break everything down piece by piece here in just a second.
What up, Room Mama? Go ahead.
So yeah, as you were saying, I know you don't play games. I play games,
Yeah.
and like back in 2013, even before that, I used to see the pictures, and I'm not a zombie kind of. I don't like the whole zombie stuff, right? But that one game really did it for me. That first hour you play that game, the whole thing with Sarah, seeing that played out, impactful. Seeing how everything comes, how the story really, how they make you fall in love with these characters. How you have a reluctant protagonist, being attached to someone that's like a pseudo daughter to him.
That's right.
That whole story. I think it touched a lot of people's gamers' minds and hearts. And now to see it played out, that first 30 minutes of the show. Let's talk about that opening. They did something that was pretty cool because as someone coming in with information how the story plays out, we see that they bring it back to like what, the 60s?
The 60s.
They have scientists
64,
talking about
like
pandemics, something that's very... Wait, we lived through a pandemic recently, so
very authentic.
this is
Who
something
knew back
that
in
we
2013
went through it. So
how relevant it would actually be. And there's if any studio wants to make money, you come up with the zombie series. It sort of seems like it's outdone at this point. However, with this particular show, it seems like they're attacking it from a different angle, and it is viable. It's really good. One, everything is always a virus outbreak, yada yada. This is fungi, which can take over the body, and as the people who know the game, there's like 4 stages of these different zombies that they have, which we didn't necessarily see in, like, say, The Walking Dead or something like that. They only had like a second progression of the zombies, and so on and so forth. But it makes the show interesting, and the acting, the actors, and also the storyline is big time.
phenomenal.
Amazing.
Real quick, shout out to the legend 350 for checking us out. Love the support, my man. And My man Tony Baloney. Yo, what's going on, man?
What's going on?
And say, Room Mamba, you're into zombies as well, but this one is special. This is a special thing.
Yeah.
I was chatting with Cloud on his channel. Shout out to Cloud. And I mentioned that he's a fan of Resident Evil. I'm not a fan of Resident Evil. I never really played the games. I bought a game, but I haven't really got into it.
Yeah.
I seen the movies. They never done anything for me. I seen the Netflix show was total garbage. And but the games are good. I know that people love those games, so I'm pretty sure once I get around to play it, it's gonna be good.
Netflix hasn't been putting out that many good stuff lately. I think they're running out of material or something. That's a different story for a different day. But yeah.
So going back to the beginning of the show, so we're in the '60s. They're talking about a different type of pandemics, and when this scientist brings up fungi, could be the thing that does that we don't win against, that we can't win against, right?
Yeah.
Because there's types of fungi like the cordyceps, which is what the game mostly based of, that goes into the bloodstream of like an ant. It invades the brain and it literally controls it.
The body.
And this is basically what we're gonna be seeing how it plays out on the show. I love that. For everyone, they're giving a really good explanation on how this zombie outbreak is gonna work. A lot of the times when you watch a zombie movie or show, it's very quick. These things just makes you want to eat other things' brains, and that's it. This is more science based. I was sitting there watching this. I'm like, damn, that's good. You know, it's far fetched.
Yeah,
but hey, it could happen. It could happen.
Believable. Hey, in the context of being away for a 2-year pandemic, it seems very realistic on how it spreads and how this fungi it lasts so long and causes all these different problems. One thing that me and Lion had a debate about was I was saying, why don't they have an accent if they're in Boston? And I didn't realize that they first started in Texas and somehow were transported to Boston.
To Boston later on.
Backstory about that. That's very interesting.
And that's the next scene. Yeah. So we go from the 60s, then we have a scene we meet Sarah. Yeah. Sarah was such an important character. We only really get to spend some time with the first 30 minutes of the show, 35 minutes is about Sarah, and they really push for us to fall in love with this character, to really like make us. If you don't have any knowledge of the story, you're gonna think this girl is the main character of the show, or one of the main characters of the show, just so we can see how everything plays out. Just to very quickly cut that umbilical cord and really like make us feel something for this girl. And as someone who I already knew what was gonna happen, and I seen it played out, it still gives me the shivers. Still makes me feel something for it. That scene when Sarah gets shot by the army, and one thing we were discussing is that we don't really see that very often when children getting shot on TV. I mean, this
thing is very raw, and I sort of spoiled it for myself because I was doing the research, which he already knew what was going to happen. It hits you a different way, but for me, I was like, okay, they're going to eliminate her, and that's what's really going to set things off per se. And so, but to your point, Lion, no. There's not. I can't remember any movies where you saw a kid being eliminated especially by the military or really anyone. They may get like hit in the arm or something like that, and they survive. But not in this case, which just shows how it's a different society at this point. The rules have changed. It's okay to eliminate anyone for that matter.
I completely agree with you, Rumamba. That throwback scene was great. Staying very true to how the game and the show has been. So, shout out to that. Now, one thing that I noticed, I love attention to detail.
Yeah.
Throughout the second scene where we have Sarah going to like the watch store to get the watch for Joel, we see that we see the ambulance, we see police. We hear these rumors about there's like some kind of commotion happening in the city, and they just basically plant those seeds that something is about to go down, something is about to happen.
Yeah,
and then we have Sarah go back. She gets kicked out of the store. She goes back home, and then we start seeing how everything develops until we get to that scene where she gets shot, and that's when the story really gets going because. We fast forward 20 years into the future.
Huge jump.
And we have a Joel that is now a very cold, very
I
rugged,
agree with you, Rune. Go ahead.
a hard man. A hard man. Essentially, is a smuggler from what we can see, and it's a gun for hire per se. What's your impression of Joe from going from that second scene and that switch to the third scene? How did you feel about Joel's character development in that transition?
He's jaded. And he's making do with whatever he has for right now. He knows that one, he's in a foreign place to him because he went from Texas to Boston, and there's a epidemic, a pandemic, and now the rules have changed, and they don't care about you. He just has to survive somehow, and he has a side hustle, which is smuggling, and that's the way that he's getting ahead. And with very little ambition of getting out, he's just jaded. He goes through the motions, so to speak. So it seems like life and the events that happen have beat him down. What are your thoughts, Lion?
You got it right. So we saw a bit of that on the second scene when they're driving and this family is asking for help, and Joe said no, somebody else will come help him out.
Yeah.
We saw like a sneak peek into what he's gonna become later in the future. Fast forward, he's seeing his daughter dying in his arm. This guy he's taking pills, he's drinking a lot. You can see it in his eyes. Pedro Pascal does a phenomenal portrayal of Joel. I have no complaints about the casting of Pedro Pascal as Joel.
Brilliant.
No, I'm a huge fan of Pedro Pascal, so I might be biased
we
on
love
that.
all this work. It was brilliant casting on that part.
To see Joel, let me put this way. So when I have played the game and right away you meet Ellie and the story gets going, in this TV show, what we do see is that they give us more character development because now we get to see Tess, what she's doing. We see the situation with Marlene. We see the jobs that Joel's doing. We see how everybody's interacting.
Yeah, that's something. Going into this first episode, my initial question was like, how much are they going to put in this first episode? Because there's so much that they have to explain. There's so many events that happen, and how for someone who hasn't watched the video games, how do you set this up, right? One, the job of the first episode is really to captivate the audience and get their attention so that they say, I want to see the second episode, unless you do a 3-episode drop like some of the other ones do. But we know HBO is not going to do that, right? So my initial question was, how much detail and how far ahead are they going to speed up to really capture the audience's attention? And so they went a different route. They did a lot of character development in this episode, and they just let it ride. They figured that, the true believers, the gamers, they'll hang on. And I think it was a good job. I think it was a good move because they stayed true to the actual video game.
So one thing that's cool because they gave us something a little bit different than what we already expected. I was expecting we fast forward to the future, we meet Ellie, we get the job, and we get going. I thought the show was gonna end by the time we meet the cordyceps or the what they call clickers, those are the zombies in the show. And no, they actually gave us some more character development, some background. We see the interactions between Marlene and Ellie. We finally meet Ellie. Bella Ramsey, which is being a very controversial casting because she does nothing like the character model of Ellie. While she's very talented, she's a very talented actress, and she did a fairly decent portrayal.
She was in Game of Thrones, for Christ's sake. Use your imagination, and for all the critics out there.
I'll be honest. If you we're talking about 2013. We've been with this character all these years, and you expect, at least as someone who's this story is very close to me, you expect to see the characters resemble each other a little more. Pedro Pascal is slightly different than the Joel character model, but I think it's pretty much dead on. Mm-hmm. But Bella Ramsey, it's just it makes it harder for me to buy her 100% as Ellie. Hopefully, as the show progresses,
let us know your
thoughts.
Are you concerned that she doesn't look like the actual character in the video game, or does it not matter to you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
No, for sure. Just let us know. As some of the guys are saying, yeah, she looks nothing like Ellie. And I love Bella Ramsey as Lyanna Mormont in Game of Thrones. Huge Game of Thrones fans here. But man, I saw her face and like I see she's wearing the same shirt as Ellie's wearing.
Yeah.
I just played the game back in September, so I like it's still fresh in my mind. And you look at the character mode, you look at her, it's just so hard to believe her as Ellie. I just hope that she can sell me on it. I hope that she can really convince the audience of who she is. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure those who are not familiar with the video game, have not looked into the video game, this is gonna be no problem because this is the only Ellie they know. We in our gaming community, we know a different Ellie, and we're quite
Shout out
happy
to
with this
Rune.
casting.
Rune says it doesn't matter.
Hey, you gotta at least give the show a chance. I got you.
Yeah.
But this is the thing that scares me about when they take certain liberties with the game, with the shows, and the game to a show.
Yeah.
We review Halo at least for a few
Oh my
episodes,
gosh.
and
Do we have
last
to talk
year,
about Halo?
last
I thought
year,
we were
I'll be
done with
honest,
Halo.
that was a very terrible
That's
adaptation.
terrible.
It's just nothing matched to what I knew of Halo, and a lot of the gaming community did not like it. However, somehow they got a second season. I don't know how. Maybe Microsoft
The
just
biggest
has
Christmas
big
gift
pockets,
of the
but
year.
it was like a successful for that particular streaming service. But it was
Who was watching it? That's what I want to know. Like who gave portions of their lives to watch that show? I was told by somebody that I need to give it a second chance. I don't know if I'm going to, but go ahead.
I might revisit it just because it's getting a second season. I think we watched like 3 episodes and it was just like, yeah, we can't do this.
Yeah.
Once you start seeing Master Chief's cheeks, it was done. But I digress. Let's go back to the last of Us. Yeah, Halo was a joke. You got that. So another thing that we have to talk about is the one thing that's different, in my opinion, is the relationship between Joel and his brother Tommy. When we do the fast forward in the show,
Mhm.
Joel is interested to know where Tommy is. He's concerned about his brother.
Yeah, that kind of
Different
threw
from
me
the
off.
game,
That kind of threw me off.
their relationship is severed
Yeah.
at that particular point in time for XY reason.
Yeah.
They don't talk to each other. Here, Joel is taking on this job, not because he wants to get paid or just bringing this girl from point A to point B, but because at the end of point B, he's gonna have the ability to go, find his brother
Mhm.
and see where they land. So I'm interested how this is gonna play out, how it's gonna translate to us in the story, as especially for me that I'm familiar with it. To use a different experience. That's what I like about this dynamic, because to you're coming in fresh.
That's
You
right.
never played the game. I have.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have different interpretations of it. What was your how do you feel about the portrayal of Tommy, Joel's brother, and their relationship going into the show?
It seemed different. It seemed incomplete. That's his brother. He's going to look for him. But like you said, what happened to him? Like all of a sudden, because they were in Texas, they were together, and then 20 years later, it's like, what are they doing? You know that Joel is in Boston in the QZ zone, in the QZ, and he's a smuggler. Is his brother a smuggler as well? It seems like it because he got sent off. But like, what was the reason? All these unanswered questions. So that part I think was a little bit I want to say annoying. Like it's like, okay, first I had to figure out, I had to catch on. It's like, all right, he's looking for his brother, right? Because obviously, and that part, I guess I do like that because I don't like them dumbing down the script and stuff like that. So, but just like, okay, what happened to him? What was he doing? Those questions I wanted answered, but I guess that's part of the story. We have to wait for it to be answered, and that's where I'm at as a non-gamer watching the show.
Okay, fair enough. Let's take a look here. Now, another character that I think they did a very good job of exploring and their relationship of which is always implied, but we never really find out, at least in the video game, is that of Tess. Tess, played by the fantastic Anna Torv. And if you're not familiar with Anna Torv, you watch a little series called Fringe. Love that series. If you're into sci-fi, it's a little older. It's a great series to check out. She did. We learn more about her personality, and we finally get a confirmation that there is in fact a romantic relationship between Joel
Lois,
and Tess.
made Lions Day, that's for sure.
Made what?
Made your day. To get the confirmation. Yeah.
When I find out what was happening in there, she gets into the bed with him, and they have that conversation, and she's the ride or die for him. Yeah. In the game, she just brings this job of Ellie to Joel, so it's a bit different of a dynamic. So we're gonna see how that plays out in the coming episodes with what's gonna be happening coming soon.
As somebody again who hasn't played the game, as a regular viewer, I thought the life in the QZ was very interesting because as a resident of the QZ and like Fedra, you got to come in from every angle because one, you have to do manual labor and it's grueling and that can kill you. Two, the zombies can kill you, the clickers and whatnot, they can kill you, and also the military will kill you as well. It's a hard life in the QZ, which I wasn't expecting. I mean, in all the other zombie movies and whatnot, the military really didn't take over as much, or at least they were able to escape it. So you're out in the wilderness and so on and so forth. And also one of the other contrasts is that it's cold as opposed to being hot in Georgia with The Walking Dead. So I found those dynamics to be really good and set a different tone for this movie, which I appreciate.
You know what's interesting? We contrast this show with something like The Walking Dead. Walking Dead is probably the most successful type zombie show ever made, right?
For some reason.
And this is gonna give it a run for its money. We don't really have like some kind of sense of law and order in The Walking Dead. Everybody's doing their own thing.
Exactly.
Here, it seems that there is some kind of network set up where there is some kind of government. There's some kind of rules in place. There's a resistance in place. Yes. So although 20 years have passed, some semblance of order have remained. Yes. While something like The Walking Dead, within a few years, everything fell apart. There was no real network. So one fear that people had is that how this is going to be different than The Walking Dead. I think this is a very good way to start off the show.
That's a really good point. And it's a different life completely. Like you're essentially hard labor slave if you're in the QZ because everybody's got to work.
We see how they treating the children. They were burning some children that were dead. We learned that some of the children that are orphans are given to like the military to be raised as soldiers. It's a hard life. It's a hard world because of the spread of the cordyceps infection. Another character that we have to discuss would probably be Marlene. The portrayal of Marlene comes in. She's putting a very good light. She's a very good negotiator with Ellie. She's able to level with her and gain her trust. She's able to level with Joel and Tess and convince her to take a job because she was already shot. What was your how do you feel about the portrayal of Marlene in this
Marlene show? Was very strong. I mean, she's the leader of the Fireflies, and it seems like she got that title because she deserves it. So she's very strong, very smart. She has her hands and everything. There was a moment where it seemed like some of the soldiers were questioning her, and she kind of put them in their place and whatnot. But she also has a soft heart too, because she really wanted to get this girl. Give me your name, Ellie. She wanted to get Ellie to the other zone, and she really cared for her. But we know that not to be the case later on because they're going to sacrifice her later on. But initially, I like her character. Very strong, also very compassionate. And I like the way that she negotiated. So that's my thoughts.
And Rune, thank you for bringing that up. That's a very cool point. So yeah, after the show ends, they were talking about this is the person that plays the voice of Marlene in the game, and she was talking about I'm gonna try out for the part. Is it gonna really translate to the visual arts? And it did. I think she did a fairly good job at it. We're already familiar with the voice of who she is. And I think she did a fairly good job, and we'll see how that's going to play out throughout the series as we go forward with this. And to be fair, Room, The Walking Dead, the first 4 seasons, I think they were pretty good. They were pretty. That was a pretty good show. I think the show got stayed too long.
It
Stayed
stayed
too long. It got stale.
It was like it was just they were just repeating themselves after a while. Same thing, different characters, in my opinion.
Now, the one character I have to say that we didn't get to see or the threat is the cordyceps. The cordyceps, which are or the clickers.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see someone that was petrified as a clicker. We got to see the old lady, someone as a clicker, but we didn't really get to see how these clickers look now. It's been 20 years after the infection.
I love the way they set that up. Was that in the game line? They set that up. They had the old woman.
No, that was in there.
They had the old lady in the wheelchair who couldn't even eat. They're pushing food in her mouth or whatever. Like she's completely debilitated. And all of a sudden, this woman is like climbing on walls, jumping through doors, and like launching herself 20 feet across or whatever. It's like, yeah, this fungi is real.
And one point of contention, I made a video early in the week, just giving a little preview, and I talked about some points of contention from the video game to the TV series. One of those is the fact that in the game the infection spreads through
spores.
To spores.
Mm-hmm.
In here, they're gonna use something these tendrils that the infected are gonna have. This was an idea that Neil Druckmann, the creator of the writer of the story, wanted to incorporate in the game, but never got around to do it.
Okay.
And we got to see a semblance of that. We got to see the clicker kind of show us the tendrils on how people are going to be infected.
That looked really disgusting.
It was gnarly. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because we're used to seeing the characters have to wear the gas mask to protect themselves. Now they might have to wear some kind of suit to maybe to not get bitten. It's more of a. It feels like it's more of a traditional trope with zombies in regards to getting bitten and getting infected instead of just the spores. I mean, it's fair because if we have spores,
then you got to wear gas.
Everybody will be infected right away,
and that would cause a lot of problems. Yeah.
Correct. See here.
He was saying superpowers.
Yes. I wonder if they'll do some kind of Easter egg about, or like they'll do a mention. Like it's not like I can see through walls, or I can hear. Because in the game, you can kind of hear and see where things are located. Yeah. Maybe they'll do some kind of Easter egg just to poke fun at that and the difference in the game and the TV show. I know you were joking. So now overall, I was expecting them to go a little further than they went. We met all of the main characters, at least for this part of the story.
Right.
We have Joel, Tommy, we have Ellie, we have Marlene, we have Tess.
Yeah.
And they take us when Joel finally agrees to take the job, and Tess as well, to take Ellie from the quarantine zone past to the location.
Yeah.
And there's a very key scene here where they're found out by the corrupt military guy, the federal agent, and this is a key scene in the game because they're checking to see who's infected. And when Ellie's about to get checked, she stabs the guy. The guy is about to shoot Ellie. This triggers Joel immediately. He sees Sarah. That moment when he got shot,
he
attacks this guy and he brutalizes him.
Yeah.
To the point that when Ellie looks, she's like entranced with what she's seeing. Mm-hmm. Like seeing someone protect her with such fierceness. I think she never had that in her life.
Yeah, it was his paternal instinct that jumped out, and he just eliminated the guy brutally, to say the least. And I think that really resonated with Ellie because in that moment, I think she felt that he was not the transporter, but he was the protector. Now, like he's that friendship and that relationship went to a different level in that moment. And as they said in the after notes of the show, there was a contrast between Ellie's reaction and Joel's daughter's reaction. Because Ellie was intrigued by it, and Joel's daughter was totally
Shocked.
freaked out by it.
Yeah.
It was a different life back in 2000.
It was like her face was it was shocked. She was shocked, right? But I think if we look at her background, she's an orphan that was raised in a military encampment.
Yeah.
She probably never had anyone show that kind of protection towards her, love towards her. And to see that, maybe that's when that connection starts.
Yeah.
We saw that earlier in the show. They share a small moment where she's trying to break the code, and we had like the little funny scene, kind of like very, very casual. Joe wants nothing to do with it. She mentioned about his watch is being broken. It was fun and games. But this particular scene, when he goes and does this for her, really hits home with her. And right away, when we're like kind of connecting with them in that particular moment, tests her and finds out that she's infected. She reveals that she is immune to whatever's happening, and this is where the show ends, at least for this particular episode.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you. I thought that it was going to go further. I really did. Like I'm captivated because of what I know, but I thought that they were going to go further, and I wondered what other people's opinion who don't know the game, like in their minds of this first episode. Is it like as good as Game of Thrones maybe was, or as good as some of the other successful shows was in their first episode, or is it more of like, oh, okay, this is cool, and maybe I'll watch the second episode? What are their thoughts? I like to know that.
I'm curious to see what numbers this show is going to do. I think the hype was max level. We have a show with such a high praise for critical acclaim. A story that's so beloved by all the gamers that have touched this game. This is a series that has sold. I mean, at this point, just the first game, which is this particular season. This season covers the first game. It's sold about close to 30 million copies. We have the second game that has sold about over 10 million copies in the last few years. So we have a show that already has a built-in audience. I wonder if these people are going to show up to watch. And then you have the new viewers. You have the reputation of a network like HBO. But let's face it, I said it multiple times. HBO rarely misses with their shows. The quality is there. We can see it here. That opening scene when he's carrying Sarah through the city and we see planes and everything blow up. Feels like a big time event, big time movie.
It was a huge production.
Box office.
Like in that situation, like you think about as a director, all the people that you have to coordinate, the police cutting off the different blocks and stuff like that, and them making a turn, and you got to have a film crew filming this and catching every angle, and then you got to do CGI with plane crash and all the people reacting. Like, it's a huge production.
It feels big.
And one of the big goals of HBO is to get the same amount of subscribers as Disney and also as what is it, Netflix that have the most. And I wonder, is this going to contribute to the bottom line? What are your thoughts, Lion?
The next few weeks is gonna determine that, because people are, there's this zombie fatigue out there. Yes. This show is set out to redefine that genre of zombie movies, zombie TV shows, and the next few weeks when we see the numbers of the first week, which is normally the highest ones, then we see if they maintain like House of the Dragon did.
Yes.
Then they're gonna have a hit in their hands, and we know this is gonna go further. It's gonna bring a lot of people to HBO, and it's gonna help. You have HBO releasing. If you have watched HBO series, it's banger after banger after banger.
It's just it's nonstop until the end of the year. During Christmas time, they sort of do nothing, and then start off the beginning of the year, which is where we're at.
At risk of making some people mad, I would say that HBO is the PlayStation of streaming services. Everybody has Xbox.
There you go.
I'm kidding.
There you go.
I will see. I'm very curious the next couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, to see where the numbers land. I'll be honest. I love the beginning. I love the 1960s explanation of what the fungi infection is. I love the portrayal of Sarah. I wasn't super attached to the background they gave us of the life in the quarantine zone. I was kind of eager to move forward a little bit more.
Yeah.
I love that they did a 1-to-1 on that scene with the federal agent. I love all the details, all the little mentions, like all the subtle hints of something's about to happen. The relationship between the foreshadowing, between the relationship between Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
Joel's just his facial expressions. You can see that this guy is broken. This guy has lost everything he cared for in his life.
Absolutely.
He looks like we can say he's an alcoholic. He's taking multiple pills.
Dude,
he's maybe an
addict. I don't know
addict.
how he's functioning.
He's very violent. He's a smuggler. He might be a criminal. He's a murderer.
Yeah.
This is not a good guy. Right now, they're letting us know this is not a good guy, but there is a soft side hidden inside because this guy's been through so much scar
exactly.
that you have to kind of dig it out.
Exactly.
And I think these next few weeks, the job that this series has is just like the video game did, is to dig out that soft side of Joel, make that chemistry, that on-screen chemistry between Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal have to really come out to make us really fall in love with that duo, just like they did in the game. And if they are able to successfully do that, this show is gonna be huge. It's gonna really redefine the genre of zombie shows and something what can be done, especially video game adaptations. This has been considered so far the best video game adaptation to a TV show, to a TV series.
What are you looking forward to in the next 1 to 2 episodes?
I mean, it's kind of hard because
you know what you know.
It's like I know where they're going, right? I know where they're going.
Knowing what you know and understanding that they may or may not show it, or they may or may not really captivate it. What are you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to learn more about the people in this world the characters that I know are coming. I know Nick Offerman is in the show. I love Nick Offerman, especially from Parks and Rec. And he plays a character that's, even in the game, is quite interesting. He's just a rugged old guy that's just about his life. I'm gonna get to know more about that character. I'm interested. I want to see more of that. I'm very curious on how the relationship between Joel and Tom is gonna be treated in the show going forward. And I want to see if Bella Ramsey can convince me that she is Ellie, because that is the thing that I'm having the hardest part. I am very confident in her ability. However, for the last 10 years, I'm pretty much being accustomed to his particular look of Ellie, and portrayal and voice. And seeing Bella Ramsey, she's doing a good job. It's just gonna be hard for her to break through, at least for someone like myself.
Yeah. She's on. I get what they did, and she's probably a grown woman now. Whoever did that voice, or maybe not, because they have adults doing kids' voices or whatever. But
what about you? What are you expecting? What are you hoping to see going forward on this show?
I don't. To be completely honest with you, I don't know that they're going to get to it within the next 2 to 3 episodes, or 1 to 2 episodes, and I don't know that they're going to get to it within the next year. But her, I'm looking to see when Joel eliminates the doctor, when Ellie is on the operating table.
No spoilers.
Sorry. Well.
No spoilers that far ahead. Not everyone.
That's what I'm looking forward to, and I'm looking for Ellie to encounter her nemesis, and I think that's going to be towards the end of the season. I think that's going to be a season 2 type deal.
No, actually, they are doing the first game. Is the first season, so we are gonna get the first game from episode 1 all the way to the episode 9. I think they had 9 or 10 episodes. That we're gonna get all of that. The second game,
so they're gonna have to speed it up. So like in the next couple of episodes, they're gonna have to play catch up. I know they jump ahead and whatnot, but
this is one thing, because there's some background story that's gonna happen here between Ellie.
I watched a 40-minute YouTube video.
So quick sidebar. So Mr. E has never played the video game, right?
I'm not a gamer.
I've been hyping this TV show. How long? Like a year. We're like in studio. We're doing House of the Dragon.
It's supposed to be from.
We have to do this. We have to do this show. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
I've been hyping this thing. He doesn't care. He's just okay. I'll watch it. We'll see what's up. Today we're talking like, oh, dude, you're gonna be like the first 30 minutes gonna be nuts. Oh yeah, I watched a 40-minute summary of the story. I'm like, Why? Why would you do that? You wanted to, because I wanted to see his face. I wanted to see his face when stuff happens.
I actually wanted to, because I was like, yo, let me not be clueless about this, and let me do some research. And then like I watched like 2 videos, and they were like 2 minutes, and then there was this like
you watched the summary for the first game and the second game. He's not even gonna get surprised in the second season.
Dude,
and we're not gonna talk about that.
I was doing stuff around the room or whatever, and it just went into the next video, and I didn't know that the thing was like 43 minutes long, but I was like, wow, this show or game is actually pretty good. Go figure.
You should have gone in blind, but you're gonna getting that surprise. You're like, oh, whoa. I mean, like until I bought the remake of this game because this show or the game was remade for the PlayStation 5 back in September. I got it day one. I hadn't played the game since 2013. Yeah. So it's been so many years. I didn't remember everything. Everything was fresh in my mind. And I wanted to play it again. And I loved it. Like I think I have the whole playthrough on my gaming channel. This is Lion, by the way. That's my gaming channel. I have the whole playthrough. From the backstory of Ellie all the way up to the final scenes of the game. And even though I already knew what was going to happen, there were certain scenes that you wish, certain things that are going to happen. You're like, I wish I could change it. I wish it could go down a different way because it's engaging, but it's also it's emotionally distressing when you watch it. And this is what... This is how good the story is because it makes you feel something, makes you attached to it.
It's really good.
Creates great memories. It's really one of the greatest memories I have from gaming. Mm-hmm. There's Metal Gear.
Let me tell you guys, man. Like Lion said, but I really don't think that he brought it home because Lion was super into this game, and he was saying like this is the first game where I was like emotionally connected to the different characters, and he had a moral dilemma and all this other stuff. Without getting into the detail, it's like, this is going to be so great. I can't wait for it to come out. And as you know, it was supposed to come out last year, and we are getting set up to do it, and then they pushed it back, and they didn't give a date. And so Lion was like, oh man, it like crushed him. And so finally they gave a date and they brought it out. So I'm super happy for Lion to see this day come. And they did a good job.
Yeah, overall, they did an amazing job. I mean, the feels there, the atmosphere feels like The Last of Us. Joel's being portrayed by Pedro Pascal, one of my favorite actors. The funny story, I actually got to meet Pedro Pascal many years ago. Great dude at a Comic-Con. That was when he did Game of Thrones. He was playing over in Martel. That's when I first met him. Great stuff. The atmosphere, the characters feel great. Except for Bella Ramsey, that's the only one I have issues with. And she did a good job. She did everything right. Yeah. It's just that image. You just can't mix the two. That's what I'm struggling. I'll work on that as the weeks go by. So far I think they did an amazing job. I think the show, I'm hoping it does really well. I hope it gets renewed for a second season. Let's give it a quick score right here. What is your score for this episode?
You know what? I'm going to be tough. I'm going to say a 7.5 because it was a lot of character development, very little action. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to take everything into account. There were a few moments that I got shivers, and they did make me feel something. Maybe it's because I'm very attached to the story and the game, but there was a lot of stuff that really got to me. I'm gonna give this a 9 because I really enjoyed it. They built it up right. I see what they're doing because they are not just catering to those who already know the story. They gotta give more meat in that bone for those newcomers coming in, so they can really connect with this world. Because in the game you get to go run around and shoot and all that kind of stuff. That kind of makes you more involved in the story. Because you're watching, if they were just to do the cutscenes, for example, this will go really fast and there will be a lack of connection. Building up that world, building up that character, they did a great job. And that
is the reason why I gave it a 7.5 because I know that there's going to be better.
Yo, my man, the Cowboy's in the house.
Oh, what's up,
What's
Cowboy?
going on, Cowboy?
What's going on, man?
You just
How you
watched
doing? Getting back to what I was saying, that's the reason why I gave it a 7.5, because I know that they're going to have those really, really action-packed episodes coming up. This wasn't it. This was more developing, and it's still, and even with the development, they had to like tippy toe and do some explanation and stuff like that. So like this first one, it's not like some of the other ones that we saw where it's just like constantly, like you said, the cutscenes just constantly hitting you. This was slow and steady with a few stuff. So 7.5.
There's something new that I want to do for when we do the episode. Oop.
I ain't mad at that, Cowboy.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So something new that I want to do when we do these episodes, and that is, I want you to give me a favorite moment on the episode, and or a worst moment or a terrible moment that you,
something that impacted me,
and a favorite character.
Okay, so favorite moment I think was. Oh wow! I think it was when they were trying to get out the city. I really enjoyed that.
Going through the tunnels and stuff like that.
No. When it's all going down.
Okay, Texas, at the beginning.
Yeah, when Joel and his brother and his daughter are trying to get out the city, you really feel that anxiety. You really feel that suspense, and it's like roads are being closed off, and like in my mind, I was thinking like, okay, you gotta think outside the box, and wherever everybody else is going, you have to figure out how to go the opposite way. And like they did, they went off road a little bit and such and such. And it's like that's the way that I would have gone. So that's what really stood out to me, and that's when I was really, really in the moment. And what was the second part of the question?
A favorite character in this episode.
Favorite character, it's got to be Joel, man. Like because he's the only one. His daughter is gone, and they just introduced. Help me out with his girlfriend. They just introduced Tess. And also you have Marlene, but Marlene is in and out. So it's Joel.
We got more screen time with Marlene. Sorry, with Tess, Joel, and Tess and Joel were mostly dominated the episode, in my opinion, and then some Marlene.
Yeah, but it's Joel because he shows development within the 20 years, which you would hope for a person. He shows a development where he was like this funny, loving dad or whatever. When the neighbors try to get him to eat something, he's like, "No, I'm not eating that," and blah blah blah. And now he's completely jaded. He's a smuggler, but he kind of like a mercenary, almost, but not like for the killing, but for everything else. And so, like you see that contrast, and you see the two different characters within this one person, and that's what stood out to me as a character in the show. How about you, Lion?
So just to answer Cowboy real quick, so that you're right, because I think Sarah in the game, she's like 13. If I remember correctly, I think she was like 13. In the show, I think this girl shows about 15, 16 years old.
Yeah. So
she's slightly older. So you're right. It doesn't hit as hard, but one thing they did that I think was very interesting, if you notice, is that's when he's pushing to like keep that wound closed so she doesn't bleed out.
Yeah.
And Sarah's like, whoa, don't do that. Scared.
Yeah.
You see the fear in her eyes. It comes
she
through right away.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job at kind of adding that in.
Yeah.
I
definitely felt that.
For more connection, for more of an impact for us, as well as they really focus on Sarah. Because if you think about the game, we get like the little scene in the house with Sarah walking around, seeing her pictures, but we don't really see Sarah's full personality displayed.
No.
And here we see that she's very playful. She jokes around, has a great relationship with Joel. She's trying to do something really nice for her dad, getting the watch. Yep. She gets along with a neighbor. She's caring for the pet.
Yep.
So we see all of that. We see more of her personality, and I think her name is like Nico Parker. I think it's the name of the actress playing Sarah in the show. I think that kind of allows at least newcomers to fall in love with that character a little more than we did in the game. Although in the game she was impactful because I don't think at that time anyone has done anything like that. To this day, especially if you have kids, that is a rough scene to watch. It's something that's hard to imagine.
Yeah, Rune said it. Yeah, or was it Rune or Cowboy? Cowboy said it. Yeah, absolutely. See,
yeah, they didn't play safe here. They really brought it to us, and they it was a tough scene to watch. It's a tough scene to watch because it was very raw.
Yeah.
When you see she gets shot, Tommy reacts like, "Oh God," and then you see Joel trying to hold her, and she's holding his hand. A lot of the times when we see like on a TV show somebody gets shot, they just put some pressure on it. It's like nothing's happening. Here, as soon as he touched, she reacts. You see her face. You see the pain, the fear, her life going away in the eye. Great expressions. Everybody had great facials on this show.
Yes.
Which is something that the game does really well. The facials on the character models are really great, and a lot of stories being told by how the characters are reacting to the world around that's happening to them at that particular moment.
Well done. I agree.
So yeah, for me, so you said what was your favorite character?
Joel.
Great choice. So for me, my favorite moment, it has to be the beginning. That explanation in the 1960s, it gave me chills because it's they really
did you see
science that down to make it seem so real how a fungi infection can really happen. And like, yeah, this different fungi can have spores that go in your bloodstream. Especially they went down to the temperature. Yeah, we know that they don't survive in a body temperature 94 degrees or higher. But what happens is the world gets hotter. We talk about global warming all the time.
Yeah.
And that kind of brings this connects to science as if the global warming is causing this fungi to evolve, and that evolution is causing the infection.
You see, yeah.
And we see the people are going to be controlled. They're letting us know this is an infection that we cannot win against. And that moment was chilling. There was a bit of a silence, and they go into the show from that point. That was my favorite moment of the show.
I thought that part was amazing too, and I thought that was a good ad because I don't think it's in the video game from the video that I saw, and I especially like the two actors that were in that scene.
I was up by a year, Cowboy. You gotta give it to me. Yeah. I just played in September, but I think it was just 13 and so it's 12. Fair enough, close enough.
But the one guy in that scene was from Hell on Wheels. He was the crazy guy from Hell on Wheels or whatever. I always liked him as a character, and he was the tall.
I've seen like one episode of Hell on Wheels.
He was like the tall, like Eastern European guy that was. I think he was an Undertaker or something like that, and then he became like super religious, and he did it all different types of crazy things. So
that's a quick summary of Hell on Wheels. You never watched it before.
Yeah. Take a look at Hell on Wheels if you have.
AMC has some great shows as well. Yeah. AMC doesn't miss with their shows either. They're a close second to HBO, in my opinion. Now, my favorite character, I'm gonna give it to Sarah in this particular episode. Sarah, except for her death scene in the show, in the game, that's basically her purpose of it. Here, I think we got to know a little more of her personality, of who she is. I think Nicole Parker did a wonderful performance for the screen time that she had. I think she did great. She's probably gonna be she's gonna start doing a lot of really great roles in the future. So I really enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments what was your favorite moment of this episode, and if you have a favorite character.
Yeah.
Or what was your worst thing you hated about the show?
Let us know if you don't like the what is it, Ellie character?
Oh, the dropout. I have not seen the dropout. I have seen the documentary about Theranos, which is crazy. You know, the lady that she faked having this machine that can do blood tests. Something that happened a few years ago, and it was all it was all a ruse to get all this money, and she just went to jail recently as well. It is very interesting, the story, and they made a show about it.
What are we talking about?
The room put a comment. We see the dropout.
Is that a show? The show?
It's a show, yeah. About the Theranos. I forgot her name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right, I'll check it out. We'll check it out.
So Rune says here, my favorite moment was the car getting destroyed. That caught me off guard. My favorite character was the dog. Yo, I have an Australian Shepherd, so that I saw the dog. I like, come on, man, don't do me wrong with the dog. I haven't thought that looks just like that one. Black and white. Mine just smaller. So yeah, that is all for me. Let's see here.
I think everything was good. They're doing so good.
Yeah, the first part was amazing and so important to show the science part. Yep. Let's see what else Cowboys said here. I think everything was good. They're doing so good with keeping it close to the game, but this keeps the chasing with rubber. I mean, what they really fast forward to get down to business, and I think they gave us too much backstory, and they needed to push the story going forward. That's probably what happened there.
We'll see what happens in episode 2. See if they pick it up a little bit. Seems like they are.
So looking for episode 2, we might be getting introduced to Old Man Bill. I think that's what I'm hoping to see in the second episode. So we'll see what happens there. No, I know what's happening in episode 2. I won't even talk about it because they're gonna go ham on it. They're gonna go ham for sure.
Thanks for leaving us hanging, line.
For sure. Let's see here. So that we have discussed the show. We enjoyed it, and we're gonna be back every Sunday right after the show. We're gonna be earlier. We since we haven't been in the studio for a while. How long is it? Like almost 7 months in the studio.
Something like that, yeah.
Because we are in 2 different cities. So now we're in the same city. So we're gonna have to do more in the studio shows. Sometimes we'll do remote. It took us a while to reset everything up with new software, and
remembering everything and all that stuff. And
it did take us a while to get started. Nothing's working. Like, the mic's not working.
This seems familiar.
Let's figure it out. Yeah. So we'll be back every Sunday doing the live post show. We got some other videos. I'm probably gonna drop a quick review of the episode that's not live in this week coming up. And we have some other stuff that we're working on, some different topics we want to discuss, a bit more different guests.
Appreciate it, show. Appreciate it. Yeah.
I appreciate all your support. Thank you so much for showing up, because sometimes, like, man, we haven't had done any content in the channel for a few months. You're like, anybody even gonna see this stuff? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like the video that we did this week, we had some good response on that, and you guys showed up to the live, showing some love. Always appreciate it. By the way, if anybody's watching this, if you check on the chat, we have And Now Your Mama Knows. He's a content creator. He talks about gaming and all kinds of stuff. Does some really great positive rants. Check him out. And Now Your Mama Knows. We also have the legend 350 showing up today. He does content, gaming-related content. He has a podcast on Friday that's really entertaining. Check him out. That's the Legend 350 as well. Room, I don't know if you have a channel or not, and Tony, I don't think you have a channel either, but if you guys do, let me know. I'll definitely put you guys on there. Put it in the description. Yeah, hey, Cowboy, if you come to Florida, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get you in studio. We do a live show. We're going live with the Cowboy. Yeah, for real, bro.
We'll hang out for sure.
Yeah, we used to do it. We started doing everything in studio, but it's just once I moved out of town, it was just a little harder because we're like 35, 40 minutes away.
Exactly, it was a lot.
So it just got a little complex.
Yeah.
But I'm like 10 minutes away now, so it kind of works. But we'll still do some remotes every once in a while.
Hey, Rune, we had a love-hate relationship with Billions as well. Check out the videos.
Yeah. Billions, I love Billions, but sometimes there's some things that go on. And there's a video I've been wanting to make about discussing some stuff about Billions of what's going to happen going forward, because we know we don't have acts anymore. And the lack of acts changed the dynamic on the show.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in another video we're gonna be doing. Ron, I think you got the chops for being a content creator, for sure. No, we are. I know we have to talk about Foundation at some point. I think Foundation should be coming back soon. That's the first show we ever did. If you guys never watched Foundation, it's on Apple TV. It's probably the best show on Apple TV, in my opinion. Aside from
they got a few bangers now.
They have, aside from what's the second game?
There's
Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso. Aside from Ted Lasso,
no, they got the freaking.
That's the other one.
I'll pull it up.
Severance is really good too.
No, forget Severance. I didn't like that one. You like that one?
I like Severance. I wish I could do that. I have a guy that I forget about what happened at work and just enjoy my life.
Like, I couldn't get past the first episode, really. It was just so bizarre. it was just so Echo 3 is really really good.
Oh, I haven't just
Echo
watched
3
it.
is amazing, and then you got Slow Horses, which is amazing. Mythic Quest, I didn't even know it's in its third season.
Mythic Quest pretty cool.
First season is amazing. Second two seasons sort of falls off, but I'm staying with it because I'm pot committed.
The morning show was good. I enjoyed the morning show.
The morning show was really, really good. They need to come back with another season. And then Mosquito Coast. That's another banger. There's like quietly.
I haven't seen that one.
They're quietly like HBO almost, where anything they put out is good, but it's not everything. Like some of the stuff is a miss, like Severance.
See, I enjoy C for the first couple of seasons. I gotta get back into it.
I didn't get that. I couldn't stick with it. I gotta check it out.
See, I mean, it's cool. Like the first season, see, like the blind guy, the martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, the reason why Axe left is because the actor was
Severance was good. I'll check it out.
He doesn't like doing a character for too long. He was tired. He wanted to be closer to his wife. His wife was going through some stuff, and he was just done. He from the beginning. He only wanted to do like 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So that's the main reason he left.
Okay.
And I think he does that because he did that for Homeland. If you ever watch a show on Showtime called Homeland, he was the main character. He plays this. You remember
Jason?
Homeland?
I remember Homeland. Who? Jason
Axe, the guy that plays Axe.
Oh, Axe, absolutely. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he was on Homeland at the second season. He's gone, or second, third season. He's gone.
Yeah.
So he normally doesn't like to stay too long in
the
a
whole
role.
show was about him. Yeah,
And this was one of the longest I think he's ever played a character on
like
TV.
6 episodes.
So that's the issue. I don't know if he'll come back. Hopefully, he does a cameo at least for the final episodes of the show.
All right, Rune, I'm gonna check out Severance again just because. Yeah, you said it's a good show, so I'm gonna check it out, and I'll let you know. Give me about a week. I'll let you know if I got into it.
No, for real. So we're gonna be having some different shows. We're working on some concepts that we want to throw out. So when I bring more content, be more consistent with it as well.
Yep.
We definitely want to thank everybody for showing up, showing some love. Appreciate it 100%.
Yep.
But for now, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. We were a little late. Sorry about that. We will have this set up very much ready the next time. And Mr. Any last words?
Like I said, thanks for joining us. We will be here next week. You should be here too. Until then, I just want to say we appreciate all the support that everybody has given us, and we appreciate the comments. We appreciate the love because we've been off for like 2-3 months.
Yeah, dude. Last thing we did was I think it was the Black Adam movie review, which we never got to talk about the backlash of that. We should have like done a show right away because that was a debacle. Like that thing went down like
flames. I liked it, but it went downhill. That's unfortunate.
Thank you, Cowboy.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
So without further ado, thank you again, everyone. Let us know if you guys need to plug anything for you guys, and we'll probably be seeing you next week. This is Mystery. I'm Lion, and we'll see you on the next one.
We're unstructured. Later.